Okay, I'm at 6016 Pawnee Drive in College Hill in Cincinnati, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. So we're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Our access point here is a clean out about 4 feet off the floor here, cast iron stack, and you can see we're right inside the garage, towards the back of the garage actually. There's another floor clean out there, off in the distance just in front of that floor drain. But we're going from here because this is the furthest upstream access point. And so, it should be cast iron under the floor. I believe the house was built in like 1940. So it should be pretty thick cast iron here. Sometimes it makes it difficult to make that turn. It wears away at the base of this. If you ever notice, after doing a few of these, you kind of notice that there's the cast iron kind of wears away from all the water falling down the pipe. And so it kind of wears away a little divot at the bottom, so sometimes it makes it hard to get the camera to make it full bend at the bottom because of the buildup of junk. But there we go. Get past it. Still a little stuck. For a minute, and then it kind of wears away a little bit of that rust, and we get on through it. We'll be able to look at that a lot better on the way back. Cast iron is a difficult material to gauge as far as life expectancy is concerned. It's just by the nature of the material. Obviously, it rusts, and so there are a lot of things that can kind of contribute to whether or not, or how much life is left in the line. And you can see there's a lot of buildup in this line along the bottom of the pipe where it's choked down. It was probably originally a 3-inch. And you can see how much stuff is built up in the bottom of this line, whether it be calcium deposits. It looks like the line is flowing, but it does look like it's really choked down. So we'll go ahead and go out and we'll take a look at this on the back side of it, but it may be advantageous to have this descaled because there's a lot of buildup on the bottom of this pipe. The risk of getting it descaled, though, is that if there are any thin spots in the cast iron, it can damage the line. But there is so much buildup in spots on that line that it may be something that's good to do. So you can see how this is going to drop into a 6-inch. Should originally have been probably a 3 to a 4-inch, probably a 3-inch cast iron, and then it goes out into most likely a 6-inch, but could be a 4. It's hard to tell. We know it's getting bigger, but this is clay once it makes it to the house, and so it should be clay all the way to the main in the street. Now, clay is a good material. It's been around for, there's a lot of 100-year-old clay lines in the ground. And the biggest issue you usually have with them is that because they're in small, like 3-foot sections, so there's just a lot of pipe connections, and so there's a pretty commonly you have some root intrusion. But I don't see any big trees here except for maybe out by the street. And it's not very mature, so. But it is always something that you want to pay attention to with the play line. This line looks like it goes straight down the driveway. But so far, the line looks really good. There's a little, there's like one little finger root coming through. Obviously nothing you can do about that. It's not causing any issues at all. A little bit of calcite there on the side, but and that's probably mainly what's in the bottom of the cast iron too, is just a bunch of calcium buildup and rust. And so to have them, they can do a descaling, but I think that would depend on probably the plumber on their opinion on the whether or not to do that, just because of the possibility of there being a thin spot in the line. The good thing is in the 40s they tend to use a little bit thicker cast iron than they did in the later years in the 60s. Stuff where we are, we could be coming up on the main. So we are pretty far out. So I'm just pushing a little bit of water up against the camera. Just a note, because we did go through a little bit of water there. That camera lens is only about a half an inch off the bottom of the pipe, and so it's not. That's not a lot of water. It's nothing to worry about. Just a very small amount of water there at the belly, or that at a spot creating a small belly. It's just a low spot in the line, but it doesn't cause any issues. So we've made it all the way to the main. Right at 100 feet here. And then place the camera off there, and then as we pull back, we'll take a little bit better look at this line. And so from about 100 feet, probably 20 to 25 feet back, is the responsibility of the sewer district. They would be responsible for anything from the main back to about the sidewalk, based off the footage. I think the main is on the other side of the street. But the line itself looks really good. Structurally, the clay looks great. I didn't see any defects. Cast iron, on the other hand, is just getting built up with mineral deposits. And so there is I think it could use some maintenance. And this stuff in through here just looks like a little bit of dirt and stuff, because you are going to get some stuff coming into that floor drain here in the garage. If the water looks like the way it's pitched, there will be some water that will come down the driveway. So you will have some deposits from the surrounding dirt that's going to get into that. So that's kind of what you were seeing there.
display. It's probably just, doesn't look like there's any blockages or anything even in that cast iron, but it is getting pretty choked down. I mean, I believe it's flowing freely now, but the line is pretty choked down from all the calcium, as you'll see, or just mineral deposits in general, which would mainly be calcium. Line. I'm going to actually pause the video and I'm going to run some water through the, there's a stationary tub in the basement, and so I'm going to pause the video so I can go in there and turn that on. We're going to run some water through as much of this cast iron as we can to kind of get a look at it, because I want to see how it looks as it flows through the cast iron. All right. So we're just running some water to witness how it flows through there with that flat bottom. I mean, I don't see any indication of any backups or anything. I don't know how long the house has been empty. But I mean, it looks like the line is functioning. And so it's kind of going to be an opinion here about whether or not to descale it. This part of it does not look real bad. I mean, you can tell further back here that the line itself is pretty choked down. You can see that's where the line is coming in. Comes from that stationary tub there on the left. That's a connection. Then we get back here where it's just a toilet running through. See if I can rinse this off a little bit before we pull back. See how much this is built up. Feels I'm getting a decent amount of resistance out of it as I pull back. I mean, it is open, but the only thing that flows through here is everything but the stationary tub. Go ahead and push back up so I can see it. You can see it's wearing away at the bottom a little bit. I don't see any holes in the line itself. But see, it's just really tough for me to push my camera through. I'm going to recommend, again, a second opinion here from so that licensed plumber, so that you can get a second opinion on whether or not to descale this. But I think, because like right here in this bottom spot here, this is really low and it's been wearing away, and so you can't see underneath that water how much of the pipe is left. Now we're coming back vertical, so we're vertical now. I'm actually in the stack and about ready to come out. So starting at about 7 feet. So, we've got probably the first mainly the first 20 feet or so, 20 to 25 feet is cast iron as it exits the house, and the first, I'd say 10 feet from the base of the stack here is pretty heavily scaled up. It does look like it's flowing, but there is some wear away there at about 12 feet, and there'd probably be a good idea to have this descaled, or you could just run it and let it go until it actually starts causing backups, and there's no telling when that would be. I mean, the line is in one piece, and it is flowing at the time of inspection, but there's some wear away there. I believe that was about 12 feet, 10 feet. There's some wear away at the bottom of one of the turns, but mainly the exterior pipe, the clay looks wonderful. That's all in great shape structurally. There's no issues found. The main concern here is just the cast iron, like I mentioned, and there's really no way of judging the lifespan on cast iron, so it could last for another 20 years, or there could be some thin spots already. It's nothing you can really see without x-ray vision. So I'm going to recommend that this be evaluated by a licensed plumber to see whether or not they should either at least do a descaling to open that line up a little bit, or if we just leave it alone at this point and let it run until there are any active issues. So that will end the inspection at 6016 Pawnee Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio.